Attention, attention, all personnel. Incoming podcast. This is MASH Matters.
Hello, hello, hello. It is MASH Matters, the podcast where we typically discuss the television series MASH, the greatest television show of all time. I'm Ryan Patrick alongside Jeff Maxwell. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Ryan Patrick. I'm alongside Ryan Patrick. Oh, no, you already said that, didn't you?
I did.
We're both alongside each other. But you know, when in reality, we're not alongside each other, only in philosophy and only in
Spirit.
In spirit.
Yes.
But in geographical terms,
No.
we ain't even close, you know.
We are 2 time zones away.
Yeah, 2 time zones. Wow.
And I'm not good at math, so sometimes I really have to think about these recording sessions and do the math.
You know, I'm not good at math either. Why do you think you and I are not good at math?
We don't think about numbers. We think about jokes and
stupid stuff and silly things.
And yes,
we're silly boys.
yes. Math is not silly.
No, it's not.
See?
But do you know, in high school, I bonded immediately with algebra. I don't know why, but as a goofy kid, there I was just trying to figure out jokes and stuff. But algebra fascinated me. Oh, wow. Oh, to the power squared and the thing and the thing. I had that down. The teacher would bring me up and I'd do this stuff on the blackboard and all the kids would go, ooh. And that was it. Algebra, but, getting out of algebra and, adding 4 or 4, dividing 12 by 18. I don't know how to do that. But algebra I could do.
Well, I'm very happy for you. Algebra was even worse for me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, at least in math, you have the numbers, but in algebra, you have like X and Y.
Right.
And it's like, I can't add X to Y. That doesn't make sense. I can barely add 2 to 4. Are you kidding me? No, I can't do that. But enough about math.
No.
This is not called Math Matters. This is MASH Matters. So today we're not going to really be talking about MASH, though. We're going to be talking about other TV shows. A while back, a listener asked us about our favorite TV shows. And then a few episodes back in our voicemail episode, my friend Joey sent us that really cool audio clip where he counted down his top 10 TV shows. And so today, Jeff and I are going to follow suit and share our top 10 all-time favorite TV shows that are not MASH. We did not include MASH in this list because, it's MASH Matter. So that should be kind of a given, at least for one of us, I know. But other than MASH, what are our top 10 favorite TV shows?
Yeah.
And this was a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be.
It was. I had a hard time, as we discussed before we came on the air here. I was sobbing to you saying, I couldn't get it. How many do we do? I got more than just a 10.
Oh, yeah.
And you tried to calm me down, and it's kind of worked, but I'm still tearing up. It's hard. When I started looking and thinking about the TV shows that I grew up with and I watched as an adult and how I bonded with them, there's a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard to really say, okay, these are the top 10. It's tough. That's tough.
And you and I did not share these lists, so we don't know each other's lists. We also did not share our own criteria. There were no rules, but I kind of went all expansive with television. Mm-hmm. So it's not just necessarily prime time on my list. Mm-hmm. Sprinkled in a couple that you probably aren't going to expect. So just know, going into this, our dear listener, that we're just making this up as we go along.
Speaking of our dear listener, how is Ruth? Is she still? How do we?
Her lumbago is flaring up, but other than that, I think she's doing very well.
Poor thing, she's got that. I hope she takes a lot of Advil or something.
I know, right? Yeah. So let's just do this. We'll just go in order 10 to 1. I can start if you would like me to.
I'm so nervous. This is the most nervous I've ever been in the 18 years we've been doing MASH Matters. I tell you the secrets about Alan Alda's, dressing room, but this is no big deal. Now I'm nervous.
Well, it's personal now.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
We're giving people a peek behind the curtain of how our brain works.
Uh-oh.
If somebody only has a top 10 of like murder shows, then it's, you learn something about people through these lists.
You do.
I don't have the murder shows on mine, but Some people do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with an obscure one that is not really well known except to a small group of people. It was a show that was on ABC from 98 to 2000. It was only 2 seasons. It was a show called Sports Night. It was an actual primetime television series from Aaron Sorkin, who went on to do The West Wing and Studio 60 and The Newsroom and all that. But this was a behind-the-scenes comedy about a cable sports news show.
Mm-hmm.
And it had Josh Charles and Peter Krause. William H. Macy was in it. Felicity Huffman. Robert Guillaume was in it. And it was just fantastic. I just loved it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Season 2 especially, because what's interesting, and this is kind of a MASH connection. I tried to find some MASH connections for some of these shows too. The only real MASH connection here is that the executives at ABC, because Sports Night was more of an unconventional kind of comedy, they were concerned the audiences wouldn't know where to laugh. So they insisted on using a laugh track in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Sorkin and a laugh track don't really mix.
Yeah.
But in season 2, they allowed them to get rid of the laugh track.
Mm.
And the reason that it was canceled was because of low ratings. It averaged 11.5 million viewers a week. If that were on the air today with those numbers, it would be the number 1 show on television.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious. I went because I haven't looked at a Nielsen rating or anything like that forever. And I was curious, what is the number 1 show and how many viewers does it bring in? The number 1 show is a show called Tracker on CBS, and it averages 7.4 million viewers a week. That's the number 1. And in the top 10, there's like 5 of the shows I don't even know.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And they range from 4 million to 7 million viewers. It's really interesting how much ratings have changed. And of course, there's all kinds of streaming services now that are cutting into that. And people go to YouTube and watch things instead of watching broadcast television. So I understand. I get that. But anyway, all that to say, my number 10 spot is Sports Night.
Okay, well, that'll do it for this episode. Thanks, Ruth, for listening. Hope your lumbago gets better. And that'll be it. So here's looking up whatever you want to look up. Thank you.
All right, Jeff, what's your number 10?
You know, that was very good. And you gave a very interesting description of the show and a very interesting description of the history of the show and the environment of the show and the ratings and all. I ain't got nothing. I'll just go with the title.
That's fine.
You move right on because you said a lot of intelligent things. I have nothing intelligent to say in this episode, if ever. I don't know. So number 10 in the Jeff Maxwell best TV shows he ever saw. And, you know, this goes back, as I said, this kind of goes back as, well, I'm a little older than you, just a little hair.
Just a hair.
Tad,
Yeah.
just a sinus away. So there probably are titles here that, you know, people in rest homes are going to, oh, yeah, I remember that one. Wow. Yeah, Jeff. All right. Other people are going to, what? Why are we listening to this? Okay. Number 10. It's a Western.
Okay.
And it starred an actor named Pat Conway. And he played Sheriff Hollister. Can't remember his first name. And the title of this wonderful series, which was on for about 8 episodes, I think. Maybe. I liked them all. I watched them. Tombstone Territory.
Wow.
And it had a great title song, Tombstone Territory. And it was a great song. That's the only thing I remember, but I remember the little melody. So I loved it as a kid.
I have never heard of that show.
Yes. Tombstone Territory. And he was a sheriff and he was really cool. And of course, the sheriff, and he was a Western guy. And so he had his holster and his pistol and everything and his badge. And so I went, I want to be a sheriff. You know? But yeah, Tombstone Territory. He was a great guy. I loved the show. I loved all the stuff. And the first time I kind of woke up to the idea that there were law enforcement people in the world.
Oh.
And he was good. And I loved the song. Number 10. Yeah, Tombstone Territory.
It was Sheriff Clay Hollister.
Clay Hollister. Yes.
Great name.
Great name. Yeah.
Ran 3 seasons on ABC.
Yeah. Can you play the song? Tombstone Territory.
If I can find it, I'll put it right here.
Whistle me up a memory. Whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory.
Hey, wasn't that great? That song brought back a lot of memories, didn't it, Jeff?
Thanks for playing it, Ryan. That was just fun to hear after all these years.
All right. So that's your number 10. So I'll go to my number 9, a show that is still on the air, Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
I have watched that as long as I can remember. I mean, I do recall very, very young watching Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo and that cast. I don't have memories because I was very young when the original cast was on, but I've followed it ever since. And if you're a longtime SNL watcher, you have your favorite cast. It kind of coincides with your teenage years. So for me, it was Dana Carvey, Phil Hartman, Jan Hooks, Victoria Jackson, Kevin Nealon, and that was like the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the talent that's gone through there and the comedy produced there, like Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Bill Hader. There's the MASH connection because Bill Hader does a better Alan Alda impression than anybody. Yeah. Also, Elliot Gould hosted 6 times, and he was the original Trapper John in the movie. So those are the MASH connections. But yeah, SNL. And the current cast is pretty good. There's that Ashley Padilla, who is just fantastic. Yeah. A lot of the young cast that's on there right now, I really am enjoying. So that's my number 9. Yeah, SNL.
Very good. Well, I can't disagree. I mean, I love Saturday Night Live too. I didn't put it on my favorite series list because I was just sort of thinking kind of series. But yeah, I mean, Saturday Night Live, there's just no. And I have to say, should I tell my Saturday Night Live story?
Yeah, absolutely. I've never heard this.
I was asked to audition for Saturday Night Live.
Really?
That's what I said. Really? You want me to audition? Really? So it was at the Improv in Los Angeles. I had to show up there at whatever time in the afternoon. There was about maybe 10, 12 other people there doing the audition. And they just said, hey, the idea is you get up on the stage of the Improv and you do whatever it is you're going to do. Just do what you do. And I said, okay. And at the time, I didn't have an act. I used to have a partner, but I didn't have the partner, so we couldn't do the act because I didn't want to do both parts.
Yeah.
So I had done an improv in one of my groups, and it was fun to do. So I thought, well, I'll do a variation of that. I'll just do that and just me, and I'll just get up and do that. So I did it, and I walked into the improv theater, and there were 3 people sitting there. That's it. You think, oh, gee, maybe I'll get one of them to laugh, maybe. So I got up and I did my thing. And there were a couple of like that laughs through my improv. And my improv was very physical. I think I was a lumberjack or something. I was cutting trees down. And I don't remember what the story was, but I was cutting trees down and they were falling in timber and running around and getting hurt. So that was the improv, and it went on and on and on, and I was tired because it was a very physical thing. So finally I went, okay, that's it. Thank you very much. And they said, thank you. I walked out, and I was standing around outside, and I thought, well, that's the end of that. And I was part of MASH at that time.
Okay.
Kind of the early part of MASH, and I was really enjoying it. And I thought, well, this is nice. I like this. And so I was going to go home, and somebody, wait, Chuck. And so one of the people that was sitting there came out and they said, listen, we really enjoyed you. We'd like you to come to New York and audition for Lorne Michaels. And I said, really? Yeah, no, really. We'll get in touch with your people and we can talk and we'll coordinate how to get there and what to do. And when we do blah, 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 we'd like you to come. Wow, cool. Okay, thank you. And so I went home and I thought about it and I thought, I don't want to do that. I like MASH. I like the series. I like all the people. I like the environment. I like this part of show business rather than doing what they're doing on Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
And so they called and I said, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Maybe next year, but right now I'm kind of like to develop this. And they went, what an idiot, and hung up. And that's my Saturday Night Live story. So
wow, you chose MASH over Saturday Night Live. That's awesome.
I did. Yep.
Wow.
But I liked Saturday Night Live on TV better than I did MASH. Anyway, I'm sorry to take up all this time with this story about
No, that's okay. What's your number 9?
My number 9, Maverick. Maverick, starring James Garner and the other guy whose name I can't remember.
Love the other guy.
Yeah, he was great. And the way they played off of each other. No, I loved it. It was a Western. I loved Maverick. I loved both of them. James Garner, for some reason, I liked him better because he was kind of the bigger brother or the cooler guy. Mm-hmm. But I loved that show. I loved Maverick. And it had a great theme song now that I can't remember now either. But I loved the theme song. You know, I think as a kid, I got hooked by theme songs. I really did. And they're supposed to hook you.
And Western theme songs.
Yes, Western theme songs. Exciting, and it gets you going, and you're a kid, and you, oh, boy.
Yeah.
So I was kind of into that Western thing, Tombstone Territory, and then Maverick. And so, yes, number 9, Maverick, starring James Garner and that guy I can't remember.
Jack Kelly?
Thank you. Jack Kelly, yes.
Yeah, ran on ABC for 5 seasons. I thought it ran longer than that. James Garner returned in the film version starring Mel Gibson many years later. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Really? Oh, gosh, I wish I'd seen it. No, I never saw it. Wow.
Yeah, James Garner is in it, but he's not playing Maverick. Mel Gibson plays Maverick.
Okay.
And James Garner is a different character, but I thought it was a fun film.
Great. Oh, well, I will check that out.
All right, so number 8. My number 8 is not a primetime show, but it's been running since 1972. And when I was a kid, and I would play hooky and convince my mom that I was sick so I could stay home from school, I would sit up on the couch and eat my soup and watch The Price is Right with Bob Barker.
Yeah.
I loved The Price is Right. And to this day, I love The Price is Right. My wife and I, we record it. And during dinner, we will watch The Price is Right. It's my favorite of all the game shows. And there are so many game shows out there that could have made the list, like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, Shoppers Casino.
Oh, incredible. Yeah. I don't understand. That's your number 1 show, I think, probably. We're going to get
I don't want to give it away. Give it away. But The Price is Right is up there. You know, when I heard that Drew Carey was taking over for Bob Barker, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I like Drew Carey. That's interesting. But I think it was a great transition. I thought Drew has done a fantastic job.
Yeah. Bob
had his style. Drew has his. And it's still, to this day, it's so wildly popular. And it's one of those, my wife, she loves The Price is Right too. You know, our dream is someday we can come out there to visit you and maybe go to a taping of The Price is Right. But I was just looking at some fun facts. Here are some interesting prizes from the early days of The Price is Right. One contestant went home with a living, breathing peacock.
Oh, gosh.
There was also a submarine.
Oh.
Somebody won a Ferris wheel. They gave away a whole island. One guy received a suit of armor and a visit to Scotland. I don't know if you had to wear the suit of armor when you visited Scotland, but, you know, whatever. And a horse.
A horse.
They don't do that anymore.
No, there's very few peacocks and horses given away on any of those shows. Huh?
Oh, no. So number 8 on my list is The Price is Right.
Very cool. Very cool. I like The Price is Right, too. I also loved Bob Barker, and I used to grow up saying, I want to be an MC like Bob Barker, because I loved The Truth or Consequences.
Oh, that's right. He hosted that first.
Yeah, that was a great, great show. Gee, I forgot about The Truth or Consequence. I just stuck that in my... Well, anyway. So that was, that number?
Was number 8.
Number 8. Okay. This is going to be a wacky thing. Probably nobody's going to remember this, but my number 8 is I Married Joan, starring comedian Joan Davis. And can't think of her husband's name.
Jim Backus.
Jim Backus. Yep, Jim Backus. They were a couple, one of the first funny couples on TV, and she really made me laugh. And she was very physically comedic. And I loved that, and I watched her, and I learned a lot of stuff watching Joan Davis be funny on TV. And the interplay between her and her husband was great. That's my number 8. I Married Joan. I married Joan. What a world, what a life, what a la da da da. Yeah, I got these.
And theme songs have gone the way of the dodo. You don't hear theme songs anymore.
No.
You know, it used to be a theme song, had lyrics, and it kind of told the story of the show. And shows don't have theme songs.
Gee.
It's kind of a shame.
You're right. I can't tell you the theme song from a show I saw this week. You know, I don't know. There aren't any. You're right.
It's a lost art, I guess. So I will say I had heard the title before, but I had never seen I Married Joan. And so I didn't know anything about it. But I like Jim Backus.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, it ran on NBC from 1952 to 1955. 3 seasons. Very nice.
Yeah. What I think is important for me anyway, she was a training ground for me because I was attracted as a kid to the funny stuff and the physicality of the funny stuff. So, and she used that a lot. She was very physically funny. So I never married Joan, but I liked and knew.
You watched somebody else marry Joan.
Yes, I did.
Nice. Well, my number 7 is a show that started in 1959. It's a okay, so I'm going to be honest. I'm pretty sure that most of the shows on my list I've seen in its entirety. Like I've seen all the episodes. This is a show I can say I have not seen all of the episodes. I've seen a lot of them, but I'm now starting to go back and rewatch from season 1 to the end. And that's The Twilight Zone. Rod Serling.
Yeah.
I love the old Twilight Zone episodes. There is something so surreal. It's kind of eerie. You know there's a twist coming, but you can't really figure it out. And it's so masterfully told, and it's visually stunning. It looks so good. If you've never watched The Twilight Zone, there are some people out there, I'm sure, who have not. It was an anthology series, and it was science fiction, horror, you know, just mysterious, twisty tales. But there was no through line through all of it. It wasn't like they were linked. Rod Serling was the narrator, and he wrote most of the shows too. It's just one of those shows that whenever it's on, I just sit and watch. Found some interesting notes here. One is Rod Serling was not the first choice to narrate his own show because CBS wanted somebody with more name recognition. They wanted Orson Welles.
Wow. Interesting.
But Orson Welles' asking price was just a bit too big. So they said, okay, we'll let Rod do it. MASH connection, Jamie Farr had an uncredited appearance in one episode.
Oh, my God.
The Passerby. He plays a Civil War soldier, and he's seen at the very beginning of the episode as one of these wounded men who are passing down a road, and usually the bottom of his face is covered. And then there are dozens of MASH guest stars who crossed over to The Twilight Zone. Robert Hogan, Andrew Dugan, John Anderson, Robert F. Simon, Kevin Hagen, all of these people who, as soon as you see them in MASH, like, oh, yeah, that guy. When you watch The Twilight Zone, you'll go, oh, him. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
He's just, 15 years younger. And did you also know, here's another MASH connection, that there was one episode of The Twilight Zone that had a laugh track.
Oh, my goodness.
It's an episode called Cavender is Coming.
Wow.
And in that episode, an angel is sent to Earth to help Carol Burnett find happiness. CBS thought that this would maybe be a great pilot for a sitcom. So one time only, they made the producers add a laugh track. And then, of course, it never made it as a series. And thankfully, they've removed the laugh track for syndication. But yeah, can you imagine the Twilight Zone with a laugh track?
With a laugh track. Good grief. That's wild. Interesting. Never knew that. Wow.
So my number 7 is The Twilight Zone.
All right. My number 7 is, I just hurt my tongue. Wait a minute. Hold on. That really kind of bothered me. My number 7 is The Real McCoys.
Is that Walter Brennan?
Walter Brennan and those two other people. Richard Crenna.
Richard Crenna,
And his lovely wife was played by somebody also very cool.
Kathleen Nolan.
Kathleen Nolan, yes. And I loved Walter Brennan as the grandpa. And Luke was his hey, little Luke, what you doing over there? That tractor. Hey, little Luke. And he'd limp really badly and limp up to the steps. And they were out on a farm. They were farmers and they were great. I just love I'd never seen people out on a farm before like that and doing things and being funny on a farm. And I loved Walter Brennan's character of this old man. He wore a funny old hat. And, they weren't wealthy people. It was just kind of a real farm environment. And, it was a family, and it was fun to see the family interact. And it was a new kind of environment. As, like I say, I'd seen Westerns, so that was, I'd shoot them up out in the streets, but never a farm environment where people were, relating to each other and having familial issues happen in that kind of a rural environment. So Real McCoys, I loved Walter Brennan. He was terrific. I really loved him. And Richard Crenna certainly went on to become a pretty cool actor and did a lot of things. So
Danny Thomas produced it, and it says 6 seasons and 225 episodes. How is that? Did they do like 4 episodes a week?
Good grief.
I mean, that's a lot of episodes to cram into 6 seasons.
Yeah. Wow.
That is wild. Okay. Wow. I do see one familiar name. Hy Averback was one of the directors.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's fun. He was a great guy. I loved Hy. He was terrific.
All right. So number 6, show that was not on network television. It was on public television. It was very important to me as I was growing up, and that was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Fred Rogers, 31 seasons, the gentle, kind, curious, understanding. We need more Mr. Rogers in this world today.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful show. And I have such fond memories of watching that. And every now and then I will watch it. I'll see old clips, and it just gives me the warm and fuzzies all over again.
Oh,
They just announced that there's going to be a official Mr. Rogers YouTube channel where they will show a lot of the old shows. I'm looking forward to, after a long, stressful day, sitting down, maybe changing out of my dress shoes into some sneakers and taking off my work clothes and putting on a cardigan and just sitting down and finishing the day with Fred Rogers.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I think I had kind of gotten out of that portion of my life. I was out, doing weird things by then. So I didn't get into Mr. Rogers, but since then I've seen him and I went, oh yeah, what a nice thing. And like you say, there should be more Mr. Rogers on TV now, and in the world. I think we'd be a better place. But
I am so thankful that, I collect autographs, as many people know. In 1998, I wrote him a letter because I wanted him to know how much that show meant to me. And I received a letter back from him along with a signed picture. I mean, it's a typed letter. It's signed by him. It's one of my prized possessions. But the final line of the letter is, "Best wishes from all of us here in the neighborhood. You are special, Ryan, just because you're you."
Oh,
that's it. There you go.
Oh,
that's Mr. Rogers.
Oh gosh, that's wonderful. That it warms me just to hear that story.
Yeah.
And the fact that he responded to you.
He did that. He wrote back. There's a couple of great documentaries on him. If you haven't seen them, seek those out. What a great man he was. And we need more Mr. Rogers.
If there are any more Mr. Rogerses out there, please call us. We will get you your own show.
We'll get you your own neighborhood.
Yeah. What number are we at?
Number 6.
Oh, number 6. And coming in at number 6 is The Danny Thomas Show. Starring Danny Thomas.
He was just perfect for that role.
Wasn't he? Boy, who could play Danny Thomas better than Danny Thomas? And I loved it as a kid. Kind of growing up, I was a little older and I loved the humor. And suddenly, I was, moving into that humor element of my life. And he just struck a chord. Of course, he struck a chord with millions of people, too. It wasn't just me. But I could hear that rhythm and I loved what he was doing. I loved the interaction and how the dynamics of those people worked in that room together and how they worked that magic and how they made it all come to life. And he was amazing. He was an amazing performer. He really was. And a great comic, a great single stand-up comedian, because he would tell jokes that had big stories to them. And you'd get very involved in the story. And then you'd hear this punchline and fall on the floor because it was so funny. But he came up with so many interesting flavors to his character and things that he would do. And I just loved it, the Danny Thomas Show. And the daughter was played by, there were 2 daughters. Now we can't.
Is it Sherry Jackson?
Sherry Jackson. Yeah, Sherry Jackson. And there were 2 wives, I think. One, I'm sorry, my computer isn't working as properly as it could.
It's okay. Jean Hagen.
Jean Hagen was the first one, yes.
There was Marjorie Lord.
I believe she was the second wife.
Okay.
They didn't explore that on TV about, we got a different wife.
Yeah,
But
2 wives in the house.
Yeah, 2 actresses played the same role. And the little boy was played by
Rusty Hamer.
Rusty Hamer. Yeah. Good show, the Danny Thomas Show.
The first 3 seasons, it was called Make Room for Daddy.
Ah, right. Oh, that's right. Yes.
And then they changed it to the Danny Thomas Show. Danny Thomas is one of those legendary performers who I feel like the younger generation does not know.
Yep.
His legacy on TV has not expanded past my generation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say, though, that Danny Thomas, in addition to being an incredible performer and also producing shows like The Andy Griffith Show, his greatest legacy is that he was the driving force. He opened St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Yes.
Which is very near and dear to my heart.
Yep.
So without Danny Thomas, we would never have had St. Jude, also some of the greatest television series in history.
Or Marlo Thomas for that.
Or Marlo Thomas. Exactly. That girl.
That girl.
Which is not on my list.
No, I know.
All right. My number 5 is Night Court. It was on NBC for 9 seasons. Harry Anderson, John Larroquette, Marky Post. I love that show. You had these bizarre people that walked through the court, and it was so funny. I've recently rewatched some of it, and I think the humor still holds up. There were just some serious, fun, out of nowhere, twisty laughs. A lot of it you can't do on TV nowadays. They brought it back a few years ago and tried to reboot it. John Larroquette returned as Dan Fielding, but they made Dan Fielding nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It didn't work. It just didn't work. Dan Fielding, he won 4 consecutive Emmy Awards, John Larroquette did, for that role. There's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
He was a lecherous slimeball, but you just loved the guy.
Yeah.
And so anyway, Night Court, 2 MASH connections that I could find. One is that Gail Strickland, who is an actress who has appeared in many, many things. She was Captain Helen Whitfield, Margaret's friend who goes to the supply tent to drink alone. She was the original public defender in the Night Court pilot, but she was replaced for the rest of the season. And then Denise Kumagai, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry. She played Oksoon Lee on MASH, but she also plays Quan Lee Robinson on Night Court.
Interesting. Wow. And I think Night Court, as I remember it, and it was one of my favorites too. I forgot it, but it's what a great show. And John Larroquette was just terrific.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of the first kind of shows that kind of pushed the envelope a little bit.
Yep.
And you got, oh, wow, it's a little edgier than most, good situation comedy kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's a New York courthouse at night. So you had hookers walking through there and, flashers. And I mean, but they got away with a lot of it because at its core, like Harry Anderson, who played Judge Stone, was a giant kid.
Yeah.
And so he got away with it. Dan was the slimiest of any character on there, and you still loved the guy.
Yeah. That
cast just clicked, and that show worked.
Yeah, it sure did. Boy, it's too bad that it didn't work the next time, because John Larroquette's so great, but it just didn't work.
He's so great.
It's too bad.
All right. So what's your number 5?
Number 5, coming at number 5 is Perry Mason. Oh, a Perry Mason moment.
There's the theme song again.
Theme song, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Perry Mason as a kid. Wasn't really funny.
No.
But Perry Mason, starring Raymond Burr, was a terrific legal show, and I loved all the different, horrible, terrible murder things that they'd get involved with. And I loved the trials. I thought the trials were so interesting as a kid. I'd sit there and I watch. And at one point I thought, well, I wouldn't mind being a defense attorney. That would be cool. You're in show business. You get up, you get to do a show. You got an audience.
Yeah.
And you got a little script, and you can, defend people. You know what you're doing. So I thought, that'd be very interesting to do. So Perry Mason, I loved that show, and I loved him. Little known fact, Raymond Burr, who played Perry Mason, was the best man at my aunt and uncle's wedding. There you go.
Really?
Yeah. They all went to the Pasadena Playhouse, interestingly enough, in Pasadena. And they were all friends. And when my Aunt Barbara and Uncle Grant got married, they asked, Raymond if he would be the best man. And he said, sure, I'd love it. So he was the best man. They got married here in Pasadena. And there you go. Little known fact.
Interesting. Wow.
Well, that's no MASH connections, but at least there's a Maxwell connection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Out of 271 episodes, Perry Mason lost 2 cases.
Wow.
Almost had a perfect record.
Yeah. Good show.
Yeah, well, and years later, I remember NBC would air these Perry Mason made-for-TV movies. Raymond Burr would return. Of course, he was much older and bigger at that point, but he would return as Perry Mason and do his Perry Mason thing. So I would catch those every now and then.
And then I think they brought another series back, and I don't remember it specifically, but wasn't it called Ironsides? I think he was in a wheelchair.
Yes. It's not the same character, but yes, that was.
Yeah. Different guy, but yeah.
Yeah, Ironsides. Yeah. I guess that's not on your list either, huh?
It's not, but I remember it. Yeah.
All right. Number 4 for me.
All right.
A show about nothing, Seinfeld. Just rewatched it again recently, all 9 seasons. The first season is not great. It's very short. NBC bought 6 episodes for the first season, and nobody knew if it was going to go any further than that. But the finale, over 75 million viewers, which is one of the most watched sitcom endings ever. Of course, it's blown away by the last episode of MASH. So many great characters, so much fun. The characters were purposefully not likable. But you still rooted for them anyway. Just a fun show. 2 MASH connections. Philip Baker Hall, he was on an episode of MASH as Sergeant Hacker. He's the supply sergeant who delivers mosquito netting to the 407 7th in the middle of winter. That's in the episode The Light That Failed. He had a very famous guest starring role on Seinfeld as library cop Lieutenant Bookman. Great episode, great performance. And then Ned Bellamy, he played Eddie Sherman, who is the veteran employee at J. Peterman, who Elaine promoted in the episode The Fatigues. He plays a GI in the MASH episode Where There's a Will, There's a War. Those are the 2 MASH connections I could find for Seinfeld.
Cool.
Just a fun show.
Oh, yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Larry David, co-creating and co-writing it. My God, what a comic genius he is.
Yeah.
Along with Jerry, who is pretty good.
He's okay.
He's all right.
He's all right.
Boy, and what a team to create that and all. They picked all the right people. Like MASH, they picked the right people to do those parts. It just worked.
You're right.
Yeah. All right, number 4.
What's your number 4?
Not a funny show, but this had me intrigued up until the very final episode, and it was gripping me, and I got to see what happened. That final episode where we saw the one-armed man, and that show is The Fugitive, starring David Jansen. And boy, did that show hook me. Whatever I was doing, I had to be in front of the TV. I don't remember what night it was on, but boy, I was there at every single episode. And I think I was at a group of people when we saw that final one, just kind of like MASH. We had a punchline to see the one-armed man. It was a little anticlimactic, but it was fun anyway. Was he on a tower and he fell off, or I don't remember what happened to him, but boy, I loved The Fugitive. Great mystery, great stories, and I loved David Jansen. He was really cool.
That finale was a huge finale.
Yeah, big.
When they finally caught the one-armed man. And of course, it went on to inspire the film starring Harrison Ford many years later. But yeah, it started as a show. You never really saw it too much in syndication. And I think it's because people knew it was the one-armed man.
Exactly. I believe that was an argument against doing that final episode, if I remember correctly, because they said, wait a minute, we tip it off. We saw who did it. What are you talking about? We're never going to get it into syndication.
Right.
And they were right.
Yeah.
And I think it probably was, I don't know if this is true or not, but for some reason I feel like that was probably a television show, one of the first television shows or only television shows that had an ending like that.
Oh, yeah.
That came out and said, okay, here's the punchline. This is what happened. Before that, I don't remember any television show, doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it went 4 seasons, and the mystery was over 4 seasons, and then there it was at the end. A lot of the shows at the time were just formula. If there was a murder, you found out by the end of the episode who it was, and then there was another murder in the next episode. That was different for the time.
Fun show.
All right, top 3 here. Number 3 for me is a show that's still on the air. It's been running since 2000. My wife and I, it's appointment television for us. Some people love it. Some people despise it because it was the granddaddy of reality TV. But every Wednesday night, my wife and I watch Survivor. We have watched it since the beginning, since the first season. We have been hooked. Right now, we are currently in the 50th season of Survivor. It started the summer that my wife and I got married. So we know how long we've been watching this show. Jeff Probst and a cast of hundreds of people throughout the years competing for the big $1 million prize. We just love Survivor.
Yeah.
That's my number 3.
Great show. I love it too. Yeah, it didn't make my list. I don't know why, but I loved it too. I remember Rudy. Remember on the first show, and I remember him saying something. He went and they said, "Rudy, blah blah blah." And he said, "I ain't gonna do it." He was a crusty old guy. No, I ain't gonna do it. Whatever it was, I don't know what they wanted him to do, but he was very, very specific. I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, Rudy made it to the final 4 in that season.
Did he really? I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, that hooked me too. That was a great fun show.
It's fun show.
Yeah.
All right. What's your number 3?
I have a tie. Is that fair?
Sure. There are no rules.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. I'll take my pants off then. All right. Never mind. Okay. Number 3. It's a tie. It's an odd kind of a pairing, but it's still a tie. Sanford and Son, starring Red Fox and his son.
He just passed.
He did. Oh,
Damon Wilson.
Or
Demond. I forgot.
Demond Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another wacky, kooky, funny comedy show called Faulty Towers.
Yeah.
Starring
John Cleese.
John Cleese. Thank you.
From Monty Python.
From Monty Python fame. 2 shows, very different, but 2 really fun shows that I really loved and had a good time watching. I knew Red Fox. I performed at his club on La Cienega.
Oh, yeah?
When my partner and I were doing the comedy teams, and he hired us, and we'd had a good run in his nightclub. It was a lot of fun. Got to know him very well.
He was an interesting guy.
Really interesting guy and very, very smart. He used to have a can of oxygen or a big tank of oxygen in the back of in the dressing room at the nightclub. And he said, "You boys, if you get tired of anything, just go in and suck on that oxygen. You feel a lot better." We said, "What?" We go, "What? Do what?" So he wanted us to suck on the oxygen if we didn't feel good. We didn't do that because we were afraid of the tank.
Yeah.
It was scary.
You don't know what else is in there.
No. But he was a great guy, and I loved him, and I loved his show. And then Faulty Towers. I mean, John Cleese was just an amazing performer. You can't get better. And all of the characters that they had in it and all the stories were just drop dead funny. And the English approach to everything was wonderful from my point of view, which I hadn't seen. So it was wonderful. Those 2 shows are number 3.
That's great. Now, I recently, and I know Damon Wilson just passed away recently, but in the last year or 2, somebody had an interview with him. I think it was on a podcast. He said in that interview that both he and Red Fox, for every episode of Sanford and Son, the filming of those episodes, every episode, they were both packing heat.
Whoa.
They were both packing handguns on the set during the film. So whenever you watch Sanford and Son, both of them have a concealed weapon, according to Mr. Wilson.
Gracious. I wish I'd have done that on MASH. Maybe I'd have gotten a bigger part. Maybe I would have expanded Igor. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, maybe next time.
Yeah.
All right, we're down to our final 2. For me, number 2 is a show that's still to this day very popular. It ran 9 seasons on NBC, adapted from the original show in the UK. I love The Office, and I still watch it. My son watches it now. On paper, it seems silly. It's a rinky-dink paper company in the middle of Pennsylvania, and it's a mockumentary about them. But Steve Carell, Rainn Wilson, John Krasinski, Jenna Fisher, everybody in that cast just worked. It did lose steam when Steve Carell left. They tried to keep it going. I don't think the later seasons were terrible, but they certainly were not as good as the original first few seasons.
I don't know why I didn't ever bond with it. I don't know why, because it's I know all the people are wonderful people in there. But I don't know why it just didn't hook me. It was a good show. I guess I was out doing something stupid, watching Faulty Towers or something. I don't know. Well, good show. Yeah.
Yeah, good show. No MASH connection. Very similar in that there's an ensemble of performers who are kind of trapped together in a tiny workplace.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The boss is kind of bumbling but beloved, and good mix of laughs and some poignant moments as well. So,
wow.
Anyway, that's my number 2. What's your number 2?
Number 2, The Outer Limits.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's the theme song, but I just
It works for me.
Yeah, The Outer Limits was every week you had a different weird, crazy, strange, creepy, science fiction-y story.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of pushed the limits a little bit on some of the things. And
they pushed the outer limits.
They pushed the outer limit. Oh, thank you. Yeah, they did. And I just, different actors and actresses each show. John Newland, I think that was the guy who introduced it. I'm not sure that he was the producer. He may have been, or the creator, but he'd come out every week and go, the outer limits. And they go into the story, and I loved it. It just gripped me. I really enjoyed listening to it and watching it and seeing all those great characters and all those great stories. So science fiction-y stuff.
It's like a cousin to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, there was an episode starring Robert Culp. And it was one of my favorite episodes where he's going to Mars or something, and all kinds of weird things happen in his capsule or whatever spaceship he was in. And later in life, I became part of a production team that produced a show called Spy Talk.
Huh.
And Spy Talk was a very interesting idea dealing with spies. And it was created by a real spy, and it was a very interesting thing. And he was the narrator.
How about that?
So we had to shoot him and, not really shoot him, but shoot him on film, narrating the show. He came up, it was shot in an upstairs of an office building. And he came up and he sat down and we were talking and he shot the stuff and then he'd sit down. And I said, Mr. Culp, I got to tell you, one of the best shows I've ever seen on TV was The Outer Limits. And one of the greatest episodes that I ever saw on the show, you were in. And he went, uh-huh. And that meant get away from me. Step out of my line of sight, okay, buddy?
That's
but,
funny.
Oh, well, there you go.
Robert Culp was on a show that I loved when I was a kid called The Greatest American Hero.
Yeah.
That did not make my list because, it wasn't that great of a show, but I loved it when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first introduction to Robert Culp as Bill Maxwell of the FBI.
Yeah. And I Spy.
I Spy, yeah. That's right. With Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show too.
He was fun. He was a good actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are. We're at our number 1 spot. Now, let me first ask, since you had a tie at 3, you don't have like a 7-way tie for number 1. Just checking.
How did you know that?
I sensed it.
You are. Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you mine and then you tell me yours. My number 1 is The West Wing. 7 seasons. Just finished, I think, my 3rd rewatch. 26 Emmy Awards, including 4 consecutive wins for Outstanding Drama Series. The first 4 seasons are some of the best television, period, because those first 4 seasons were written by Aaron Sorkin, who I'm a huge fan of. Later seasons lost some steam. I think it really picked up at the end. That ensemble, Martin Sheen, Allison Janney, Bradley Whitford, Richard Schiff, Dule Hill, Rob Lowe, just fantastic. MASH connections, Alan Alda was a big part of The West Wing in the final seasons. Also, many former MASH guest stars. James Cromwell, Brian Dennehy, Tom Skerritt, Mary Kay Place, Rosalind Chow, Mako, Michael O'Keefe, Ed Begley Jr., George Weiner, and on and on and on. All made appearances on The West Wing as well. So that's my number 1. Other than MASH, that's my number 1.
Oh, very good. Hey, great choice. A wonderful show. Boy, I don't know why it's not on my list because it's a wonderful show. And certainly I liked, all the people are phenomenal actors.
Yes.
All right. Well, sit back.
All right. I'm sitting back.
Here it goes. Here's my number 1 pick. And I know this is maybe anticlimactic as well, but my number 1 pick from back just after television was invented, The Twilight Zone. Ha! You were at 4, weren't you? 5?
Mine was number 7.
Seven. Okay,
Yeah.
7. All right. I moved it up to number 1, The Twilight Zone.
Okay.
And you mentioned all the wonderful people that were in it. And of course, Robert Redford was in The Twilight Zone playing in an episode. And you first saw, wow, that's Robert we didn't know who Robert Redford was, but he was just sitting there looking as pretty as he possibly could. And it worked from there. Gave him a good career. But yeah, The Twilight Zone had so many interesting Burgess Meredith and Robert Redford and all those great actors. And
Time Enough at Last with Burgess Meredith.
yes.
Of course, one of the classic episodes. But man, it just still packs a punch. It still works.
It really does. And, God, Rod Serling was such a smart guy writing all those episodes and doing all that stuff and coming on and narrating it. And he had such great character and he just drew me in. And all the stories did. And so, yeah, my number 1 is the Twilight Zone. There it is.
I'm sorry I stole your thunder.
No, that's okay. Don't worry a thing about it.
We can quickly go through our honorable mentions, too, if you want.
Yeah.
But there was one show that I thought was going to be your number 1 that isn't.
Okay.
But it might be in your honorable mentions. But yes, The Twilight Zone, it's on Paramount Plus. It's in syndication still. It's just a phenomenal series.
It was.
Here are my honorable mentions in no particular order. Also could have made my list. Cheers, The Jeffersons, Newhart, Arrested Development, WKRP in Cincinnati, News Radio, The Kids in the Hall, Breaking Bad, a show I'm really loving right now, Shrinking, and the show that almost made my top 10. This would be my number 11, Antiques Roadshow. I love Antiques Roadshow.
Oh, gosh. You want to come over to my house and go into my garage? I'll do it right there for you.
All right. So what didn't make your top 10?
You know what? And I'm sorry that it didn't because it's still one of my top 10s is Frasier.
That's the one. I thought that was going to be your number 1.
Yeah. Maybe I forgot about it, but I'll just run through them. Taxi, All in the Family, The Love Boat, Route 66, Dragnet, The Dick Van Dyke Show, Mary Tyler Moore, The Rifleman, Donna Reed Show, Leave It to Beaver, The Naked City, Sea Hunt, starring Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Rin Tin Tin, Wyatt Earp, and Lassie.
Man.
They're a little older.
Yeah, but a lot of these shows are shows that were part of our formative years.
Yes.
When you're growing up. And
yes.
When you're an awkward kid like me, I sat alone and watched a lot of TV. And I would watch a lot of those shows too, those old shows. Gilligan's Island and Mr. Ed. I loved Mr. Ed when I was a kid. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. We're done. We made it through our top 10. I think it was, I hope it was interesting.
Oh, my top 10, the Outer Limits did tie with another show.
Oh.
Yeah. And I know the theme song.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's MASH.
Number 1 for me was MASH. Yes, but
yes, of course, we had to say that.
Aside from MASH, these are our top 10s. I do want to say one thing before we sign off here. When I was doing research, I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to see if ChatGPT can help me link some of these shows to MASH. And so I spent an afternoon arguing with ChatGPT.
Yes.
Here are just a few of the erroneous claims from ChatGPT. Here's just five of many. There were many more. It said that David Ogden Stiers guest starred on Sports Night. He didn't. It said that Mike Farrell had a guest starring role on Night Court. Nope. This is the one that made me laugh out loud. Harry Morgan hosted Saturday Night Live.
Oh my God.
According to ChatGPT.
Oh my.
But there's one that even beats that. When I said, hey, by chance, is there some connection between MASH and The Price is Right?
Oh boy, I can't wait.
ChatGPT informed me that Bob Barker guest starred on MASH, where he A, played himself, B, got in a boxing match with Hawkeye, and C, won.
Oh my gosh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so much for AI. All right.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, what amazing response from ChatGPT. Boy, he or she doesn't know what he's talking about.
I know. I had to set it straight too. I mean, as soon as when it said Harry Morgan hosted Saturday Night Live, I replied, Harry Morgan did not host Saturday Night Live. And it instantly said, oh, you know what? My bad. You're right. Yeah, I know I'm right. Anyway,
gosh, that's funny. Oh my gosh.
So I'm just saying, don't use ChatGPT as the gospel when you're doing any kind of research.
That is really funny. What an interesting experiment. And yeah, I would have expected a bit more accuracy, but I guess not.
You would think.
Yeah. Gee whiz. What's all the fuss about?
I don't know. All right. Well, that does it for this episode of MASH Matters.
I have one last thing to say.
Yeah.
I have a television show that I'm watching, and my wife and I are both hooked on this show. It's a wonderful show. If nobody has any other shows to watch of any of the shows that we have talked about here today, there's one called, it's on Acorn TV. If you can get Acorn TV, it's called Brokenwood. And it is a wonderful, fun, interesting mystery show. It starts off in the first 40 seconds of every show, somebody gets murdered. But it's, it goes on. It's not so brutal. It's not so horrible. And the characters are in it are just real human and real interesting and warm and oftentimes funny. It's just a very relaxing, entertaining show. So if anybody has nothing else to do and you don't want to watch reruns of Twilight Zone, you go watch Brokenwood on Acorn TV. That's all I have to say. Yeah.
Are you getting a kickback from Acorn TV? Is that what it is?
Not that much.
All right. I'm just disappointed that neither one of us had My Mother the Car on our list.
Yeah,
anyway, until next time, here's looking up your old address.